So, as a candidate who is attempting your final paper, you need to understand that there is what we call a construct. This is like a philosophy that has been behind every subject you are studying. So a construct is that graduate profile which describes what a learner will be as a result of attaining the competencies in a given subject. It is one for every subject, but it has what we call building blocks, or what we can call elements of construct. Now, as you are watching and following this video, what you are going to do, make sure you note down what I'm talking about and whatever that is being displayed on the screen, because what is displayed on the screen might be little, but I'm talking more or in line with explanation, whatever that will take place in this video. So at least it can guide you in your final paper. You as a teacher, you can guide your learners on a few mistakes they might do in the paper. So let's proceed. Now we have said that there are elements of construct. When it comes to ICT, we are saying that a learner appreciates and uses ICT to solve society problems. So in whatever scenario you are doing, these questions, we are trying to ensure that you appreciate that ICT has existed and therefore use it to solve society problems. That's why you are doing scenario-based questions. So in this video, you will allow me to thank different schools that have invited me to talk to their learners. For example, let me thank Nsereko Charles, our head of Africa Mukono. More to that, paper one, you expect to see two sections, and in these two sections, that is A and B, a candidate will attempt only 3 questions. Section A will consist of 1 compulsory item from the first element of construct. We shall see that. Then section B will consist of 4 optional items, 2 from each of the second and 2 from the third element of construct. So a candidate will attempt 1 from each of the element of construct. So you will find that section B will consist of 2 parts, that is part 1 and part 2. So part 1 will consist of items from the theme of ICT safety and environment. Then part 2 will consist of items from the theme of data management and sharing. A candidate shall answer 2 items, choosing from 1 item from each of the parts. Paper 1 will take 2 hours and 15 minutes. And this paper weight is 50% for end of cycle assessment. So when it comes to paper one we are saying it has a candidate must answer 3 questions from these elements of construct. So element of construct 1, a learner appreciates and manages the computer system. That is for section A, which has the compulsory item, and it is 1. Then section B, part 1, the questions are taken from the second element of construct, where the learner appreciates ICT's safety and proper management of e-waste. There are 2 questions, attempt 1. Then when it comes to section B, part 2, it is from the element of construct 3, where a learner accesses, stores, and shares information using ICT. There are 2 questions, attempt only 1. So from here, I want us to see the skill that the learner should exhibit while attempting each of these questions from their respective elements of construct. So again, let me thank a teacher from Ngola High School, that is Carol. Thank you for inviting me to talk to your learners. Then, when it comes to element of construct 1, where the learner appreciates and manages a computer system, this is the skill we are looking out for. Have you mentioned a relevant ICT tool? Have you managed to explain how that ICT tool is applied or used? Then, have you given a judgment or solution or a recommendation? You will find that questions of item 1, they are testing a certain competence that can you use and uninstall or install and manage the computers. So here the competence we are looking out is generally solving a society problem, and questions of item 1 are taken from these topics. You must have read and understood introduction to ICT. You must have read topic 2, computer hardware and system startup. You must have gone through word processing 2, that is topic 9. You must have read topic 10, spreadsheet 2. You must have read and understood database management system, that is topic 12. You must have read topic 15, basic software management. And lastly, topic 16, system and data security. So you can take note of these topics and also the learning outcomes in each topic. So more to that, you'll find that item 1, the level of demand we are testing is a high order thinking question. And so these scenarios, you must evaluate, you make decisions, and you must ensure that you give recommendation or you judge according to the question. So we expect you to give a detailed explanation of this question. Expand your points very well when it comes to item 1. Then when it comes to questions of element of construct 2, that is when it comes to section B part 1, where we are saying that the learner appreciates ICT safety and management of e-waste. These are the skills we expect you to exhibit. 1, have you mentioned or identified a relevant item? Have you managed to identify, let's say, a certain cause? Or if you are looking at e-waste, have you mentioned a certain stakeholder? Then, have you managed to explain how it is applied, if it is an item, or how that stakeholder is important, or how a certain fire was caused in a certain lab? Then finally, you give mitigation measures, or how we can avoid a certain cause. You give the recommendations. So you will find that question 2 and question 3 of section B part 1 are taken from the following topics. You must read and understand topic 8, health and safety. You must understand topic 14, electronic waste management and the related stakeholders there and their roles. You must understand topic 16, where we are looking at system and data security. You must understand topic 7, information access and sharing. So these are the topics. Let me also thank Teacher Kenneth from Isingiro, that is Ruvorogota Seed, for inviting me to talk to your learners. More to that, let's look at element of construct 3, where the learner accesses, stores, and shares information using ICTs. You will find that here we are looking at a learner identifying a step. For example, you are helping someone apply for a job. Where are the steps? Have you managed to identify the tools to be used at every stage? And then have you managed to explain how these tools are used? And finally, we need to see the logical flow of these steps. So you will find that questions of section B part 2 are taken from the following topics. You must understand topic 3, file and folder management. You must understand topic 7, information access and sharing. You must understand topic 11, electronic publications, and topic 13, web design. So these are the topics of section B part 2, which covers items 4 and item 5. Let me also take this opportunity to thank Mr. Mkwaya Joseph, who invited me at Janan Bombo to talk to their learners. So let's now look at Planning. If you are going to attempt paper 1 questions, paper 1 scenario questions as a learner, this is how you should plan for your 2 hours and 15 minutes. Take the first 20 minutes interpreting those scenario questions and choosing the best items for yourself. Because you must be a critical thinker, then take those 20 minutes interpreting and choosing the best questions for yourself. Take 35 minutes while attempting and approaching item 1. Take 35 minutes attempting and approaching either item 2 or item 3, depending on your choice of the items of section B, part 1. Then section B, part 2, take at least 35 minutes on approaching and attempting either item 4 or item 5. So you will find that when you have followed that kind of planning, you will be left with 15 minutes. So you will be left with 5 minutes. Use those 5 minutes to check through your answers and ensure that your work is well numbered. For example, item 1 is well numbered. Make sure you have included some introductions, the body of points, and then your conclusion. So use those 5 minutes to check through all your answers and whatever you have written. That is the planning for 2 hours and 15 minutes. I'm also thanking teacher Nasoro, who invited me at Maryland High School in Entebbe to talk to her learners. I think it was a nice experience. Now, continuing or a continuation and way forward to tips. Passing ICT, you need to avoid the following misconceptions. When giving your answers, avoid mentioning ICT tools like digital cars, microwaves, fans, fridges, etc. Let's avoid such kind of ICTs in our answers. They are not ICT tools generally, so avoid those misconceptions. Also, take note that functions, uses, and advantages are different while giving your responses. And also, make sure that as you present your ideas, they should be presented in brief and precise paragraphs. Then, let's make sure that we number our items that we have done very well. Item 1A, item 1B. Make sure you number your items very well. Then make sure that your handwriting is very clear. Take your time. You have 2 hours and 15 minutes. Make sure the handwriting is very clear for those scorers and assessors who are trying to score your responses. Make sure your handwriting is clean and clear. More to that, way forward and tips. Please, in your answers, you need to be creative. We need to see that creativity and innovation skills in your answers. What you need to ensure is that when you get that scenario item, please, when you get that scenario item, for example, basing on this CABS paper, if you have seen that there is a scenario here, James runs a small grocery store where he manually keeps record. He keeps track of sales and inventory in a ledger. He often faces challenges with tracking stock levels and generating sales reports. A friend suggested using a computerized system to manage his store more efficiently. James received a catalog with various ICT tools that could help automate his store operations, but he's unsure which tools to use. Task: guide James in selecting the appropriate ICT tools to improve his sales tracking and inventory management. Part B: advise James on how to keep the ICT tools in a good working condition. So, as a learner, we are saying that you need to show creativity and innovation skills while answering or responding to this scenario. First of all, we are saying C, See that picture provided to you, that stimuli. Think about it. Why have they given this to me? Decide and then do. That's what you need to do. So we need to see you trying to see whatever has been provided to you. Check bottom left, check bottom right, check top right, check top left, check in the center. See that image very well and decide. So that means that while you are looking at it, in your responses, we need to see you have labeled your work, item 1. You can even give a title if you can. Section A, item 1, ICT tools selection and maintenance. Then from there, we are supposed to approach this answer. This item, we give our introduction. The introduction should at best be fetched from the scenario itself. So we are saying that you can mention a point, flatly explain a point. If you want, you can illustrate a point or explain a point with examples. So, for example, when you look at this scenario, we have given our introduction, and that introduction, whoever will be marking you, we are going to see the score bands or what is indicated on your introduction. Then we are saying mention a point and flatly explain it or illustrate it. Mention a point, flatly explain it, or you give some examples. So that's what we are meaning when it comes to you can mention a point, flatly explain a point, illustrate a point, or explain a point with examples. That is what we call analytical skills. Then communicate effectively. What are we trying to mean here? You need to understand the scenario. Read the scenario carefully to ensure a clear understanding of the context, including the setting, characters involved, and the issue that has been presented. So while you are in your scenario, please understand the setting. Who are the characters involved? We are seeing James. And what is the issue presented? He often faces challenges with tracking stock levels and generating sales report. That is an issue. Then more to that, James receiving a catalog of these ICT tools, he's unsure of which tools to choose. So we are saying you need to understand the context, including the setting, characters involved, and issues presented. Then more to that, organize your thoughts logically and present your ideas in a coherent and structured manner. So, for example, if you are answering item 4 and 5, we expect you to give your items in a coherent and structured manner. For example, here we are helping. For example, when you look at item 4, Anne is a recent university graduate looking for a job. She found an online job listing that requires applicants to submit their resume, cover letter, and academic transcripts through an online portal. That is a portal as a stimuli provided. Anne has her documents in physical format and is unfamiliar with the process of digitizing and submitting them online. If Anne asks for guidance, provide a write-up detailing the steps and ICT tools she should use to successfully digitize and submit her job application online. So while responding, we need to see these steps in a coherent and logical manner. So step 1, digitizing documents. So here, scanning documents. What should Anne do? Anne should begin by scanning her physical documents, resume, cover letter, and academic transcripts. She can do this using a scanner. So mention the ICT tool. You can even mention those examples of tools: Adobe Scan, CAM Scanner, Microsoft Office Lens. Then from there, second step, Anne can convert those documents those images into PDF. So we are saying that Anne can convert these documents into PDF by using a PDF converter, Adobe Acrobat, or Slim PDF. Or even in Microsoft Word, she can click File, Save As, and save type as PDF. So we are seeing a chronological way your ideas should be presented logically. Follow that kind of order. Then after that, prepare application. She can prepare the resume and cover letter by using a word processor or Google Docs, etc. So we are seeing the logical flow of steps. How can she submit? So all that must be in a logical and coherent, structured manner. So there is what we call paper 1 answering format and basis of assessment, BOA. So we expect you to bring a focused introduction because it will earn you a mark. We also expect you to have a body where you are analyzing and discussing your responses. So we said in a body, you can flatly, you can mention a point, flatly explain it or illustrate it, and at best you can even give examples. That is in analysis and discussion of your responses. So in the body, your points can be given in a hanging, paragraphing, or you can give your responses in form of block paragraphs. You can give your responses in form of indented paragraphing. And at the end of it all, we need to see you providing a conclusion. So these are bases of assessment and format that we expect. For example, when we are assessing item 1, there is what we call assessment codes or score bands. And these codes, they vary according to how the question has been phrased or the kind of scenario you are answering. For example, we expect you to give a conclusion. We expect to write these codes on your responses. If you have identified a tool or a software. For example, when we go on item 1 here, if you have identified a certain tool, we expect to write there for example, someone has identified a point of sale system. So there we put the I on that. Then note that if you have described the tool that we consider to be important or the determinant, so you have said that a point of sales system. So when you have mentioned a point of sales system, so this is our D. Then from there, provides a relevant introduction. So here in your introduction, here the introduction is here, we shall put there the intro. Those are what we call assessment scores, or what we call the assessment bands and codes. Then from there, have you managed to give a conclusion? We shall put there CLN. So on your conclusion here, after all your responses, your conclusion is here. We shall put a conclusion. Then note that another assessment band or code, the format of the document, it can be a report, it can be a letter, it can be a CV, it can be a proposal. So here we shall look at the format of your document. It can be a 1 mark there or etc. But those are your assessment codes or bands. Then when we see you describing the ICT tool, we can put a D or DS for describing a software or a tool. Then if you have explained how we can take care of that ICT tool, that is, you have explained the management of the ICT tool. For example, when you look at here, maintenance of the ICT tool, we are saying regular software update, that is for a software. So this is our FM. for mentioning the management of this tool. Hardware cleaning, and the point is correct. You have explained the management of the tool. Backup, you have explained the management of the ICT tool. Then, when it comes to questions in section B, that is questions 2 and 3, section B part 1. So we need to see, have you managed to give a management measure? Is there an introduction? Have you managed to mention a stakeholder? So here, when it comes to section B part 1, we need to see you bringing an introduction. So we need to see introduction. Then we need to see you mentioning, for example here, have you managed to mention a measure? So if you have mentioned a measure, we shall simply put M in our marking. A measure, I strain, prolonged exposure of this, etc., etc. This condition can worsen. So here, we need to see you bringing measures, strategies. Screen time limits is a measure. Then we have said that more to that, we need to see if we are mentioning a stakeholder. For example, we are looking at e-waste management. We shall put R if you have mentioned the stakeholder, role R, then a stakeholder, we shall put SH. Then if we have mentioned the cause or a consequence, we shall put CN, or if we are talking about the consequence on the environment. So here, these are the consequences. So we shall put sleep deprivation is a consequence. So from here, we are looking at all those score bands. If you have given a conclusion and then the format of the document. So we proceed. You have given a conclusion and then the format of the document. So those are the score bands we shall be giving. If you have given the mitigation measure, like that. So from there, let's look at how about assessment codes for item 4 and 5. We need to see you bringing the logical flow. We need to see you describing. So here, let's also look at questions of item 4. So have you given an introduction? So we need to see the introduction. We have said that you must give also a conclusion. Then also the format of the document must be considered. Then more to that, we need to see you bringing or identifying ICT tools at every stage or step. So you need to have given an introduction, then you need to have given the procedure while helping someone. So here, for example, here, scanning document, this is a procedure. Then when you continue, we have seen introduction, then you need to identify certain ICT tools on every. So here, Adobe Acrobat, here is a tool, Adobe Scan is a tool, Microsoft Lens is a tool. So these are your score bands, assessment codes of bands. So you need to take note that all codes will be written in small letters while they are assessing your tools, your responses. Then the description considered should be in line or in relation with the challenge to be solved, not what it does. So we don't expect someone to bring monitor and then you say this is an output device. No, we expect you to give responses in line with what we call the scenario. So these codes are basically for those who will be scoring your responses. They are for examiners, they are for those scorers, and they are going to emphasize more on this while they are marking. And in the next episode, we are going to look at this paper as well. It is also for October as we plan, as we revise to do our final paper on 30th. So here is another paper which we shall be looking at in the next video. So let me briefly showcase the items so that you can be giving me solutions in the comment section here on YouTube itself. So item 1 is here. Rita runs a small business and uses a single computer to manage her inventory, processes sales reports, and maintain customer data. She has basic knowledge of ICT but struggles with starting the system correctly, using spreadsheets to track finances and securing her data. Rita recently experienced a computer crash that resulted in data loss. She is concerned that if this continues, she may lose crucial business information. So we are looking at these images. Pause the video, look at these support materials very well, look at these images very well. Then after, task, guide Rita in selecting the appropriate ICT tools and practices for managing her business. Advise Rita on how to protect her data and prevent further loss through effective security measures. So I expect, at least as one way of collaborating, one way of knowing what is going on there, please put your responses in the comment section. Then section B part 2. A primary school in your, section B part 1, a primary school in your district has been using outdated computers for years. Recently, some of the machines have stopped functioning and the school administration has decided to replace them. The school plans to discard the old computers but is unaware of proper e-waste disposal methods. They are also concerned about the security of students' data stored on the old computers. So we are seeing a pile of old computers. We are seeing data. We are seeing delete data secure interface. We are also seeing this as a recycling factory and disposal. We are also seeing someone with a hammer trying to hammer the hard disk. So, task, advise the school on secure methods to erase all sensitive students' data from old computers before disposal. Part B, provide guidelines for environmentally safe disposal of electronic waste. Put your responses in the comment section. I will find them in the next video. They will also help me in coming up with the next video. Thank you, whoever is going to comment. Next, item 3. A tech startup has a growing team that frequently shares files and collaborates using online platforms. Recently, a few employees have raised concerns about their personal health, citing issues like back pain, eye strain, and general discomfort due to prolonged computer use. Additionally, the company's IT department has discovered that a large number of unused electronic devices are piling up in storage. So we are looking at someone seated regarding using ergonomically designed furniture. Then we are seeing someone having a blue glasses working on a computer. Then we are seeing a pile of unused computers. Task, provide recommendations for improving employee health and safety in the workplace regarding ICT use. Additionally, suggest measures the company can take to properly manage and dispose of unused electronic devices. So this is the task. Please go ahead in the comment section. You tell me responses for item 3. You comment there with your responses. Item 4, that is section B, part 2. A small NGO has decided to launch a new online platform to share research reports and community outreach information with the public. The team is unfamiliar with file and folder organization, and their current method of storing research files on shared drives has resulted in frequent loss and duplication of important documents. They also need a well-designed website to publish their reports online. So here we are seeing a disorganized interface, a desktop, files are disorganized, We are seeing a backup system. Then we are also seeing a screen with organized folders well labeled. Task: develop a detailed plan for the NGO to implement an effective file and folder management system. Additionally, suggest how they can create a website to publish their research and reports for public access. Put your responses in the comment section. Lastly, item 5, Paul and his classmates are working on a group project that involves creating multimedia presentation about their school's history. They have access to several tools, including Microsoft PowerPoint, MS Publisher, and a video camera. However, they are unsure how to combine text, images, and videos into a coherent and interactive presentation. They also need to know how to present their final product offline. So here we are looking at multimedia history project. We are seeing a camera and a video editing software on screen. This one is working on Publisher, trying to add up some things. We are seeing a flash drive. So, task: help Paul and his group plan how to create a multimedia presentation using the available tools. Provide guidance on how they can integrate text, images, and video clips into their presentation, and ensure it is properly structured for offline presentation. That marks the end of this scenario paper, and it will the responses, my final responses, will come in the next video, but I expect at least you, the viewers, whoever is utilizing this channel's content, to put your responses in the comment section. So continue subscribing to this channel. Check in the video description for the link to download these resources and use them for your revision. And by the way, I have good news. There is this new book, ICT Mastery for Uganda's Competence-Based Curriculum. So this book will be covering Senior 1 to Senior 4, Guide to Theory and Practical Success. So within this book, expect a number of scenario items, both in Paper 1 and Paper 2, with their expected responses. So it will be a need for at least every learner who wants to score highly in ICT. So when you look at its abstract, it says, as Uganda transitions into a digital age, the new lower secondary ICT curriculum plays a pivotal role in preparing learners for the demands of the 21st century job market. This book is designed as a comprehensive resource for students and educators, aligning with the competence-based curriculum and focusing especially on ICT for learners in Senior 1 to Senior 4, covering both theoretical and practical aspects of ICT. So this guide delivers a holistic learning experience with detailed scenario-based activities, test frameworks, and exam-oriented approaches. Whether students are exploring fundamental ICT themes, solving real-world problems, or preparing for their national exams, Paper 1 Theory, Paper 2 Practical, this book offers the tools they need to excel academically and build critical skills for future careers. So by mastering the constructs of ICT, learners will not only pass exams, but emerge as competitive, adaptable individuals ready to embrace opportunities in the modern workplace. So here is the book. So I request you to keep subscribing to my YouTube channel as you explore learning now and again. So the book will be available by mid-December for grab. I'm sure the time I've given it, by mid-December, it will be done. So far it is 82 pages, still trying to add up different scenario questions, generating new exam questions and all that. So keep following the updates on this YouTube channel, subscribe and share it to colleagues. God bless.